Let's rock and roll. It is a wonderful night here. We're going to be talking about some AEW. Welcome back to the AEW All Elite Murder Theater podcast. We're very excited. We're in various locations here this evening, but it's going to be fun. How you doing tonight, Mr. Chris?
I'm good. There's a lot of wrestling this week.
There is a lot of wrestling this week. How are you, Tammy?
I am fabulous.
Well, that's great. That's great. Let's get this kicked off. We had, a dark elevation and two darks. I mean,
Yeah, well, we had a special dark,
right.
which is like, Hershey special dark. I thought that was fun.
That's funny. Hershey special dark.
That's the chocolate. That's the one you only like when you're an adult.
Right. That's the ones that are always
Fancy
left.
man chocolate.
Exactly. They're always left over in the Halloween bucket. Is the special
right?
dark. You can always pick those up. Those are your desperation candies at the end of Halloween.
They really are.
But
Did you
no
guys see that
longer.
ghost behind me just
I
now?
I
did.
know, it was awesome.
Craziness.
ghost of
I'm in a haunted
wrestling.
house. It's dope.
Future.
So I'm not sure why they pulled the extra dark this week, but hey, that's cool. I mean, I have no problem watching more wrestling. I'm fine with that. It was cool. It was like kind of nice and short and sweet as 4 matches. So that was pretty fun. And they were kind of like high profile matches. They weren't like, you had some stars meeting some stars on there, or dynamite people. I don't know how we want to phrase that, but not your typical dark lineup there. So Chris, what did you think the best match was this week?
For the week, so
For dark.
you know that trios match on Elevation with Emi Sakura and there was who else was in there?
The bunny. There was the bunny, Penelope.
Sky Blue.
So I had 2 other matches written down first, but I went with
Aminata.
that one instead because that was a really good match. And that like triple submission thing at the end, the bunny's just running around in a circle. That was so fun. I really, really liked that.
Yeah, that one was cool. It was Diamante, Emi Sakura, and the bunny for
Yes.
Sky Blue, Heather Reckless, and Queen Aminata.
Yes.
Yeah, that was
Yeah, that was
really
great.
cool. The triple down the rabbit hole was what they had. So that was definitely fun. What did you think, Tammy? What was your favorite?
I picked the same thing for the same exact reasons as my cousin. So I did have an ad.
All right, what's your ad?
I would add that this is like, it was good. I liked how it ended halfway through. And so it was the private party with the Blade versus Dante, Matt Sydal, and Lee Moriarty.
Mhm.
At first I was like, it's just too much. Like the other match was more organized with Diamante, Emi Sakura, and all of that, the bunny. But this one at first, it was just like a lot going on. And I heard Chris going, there's a lot going on, right? I bet you thought that. But then it got really good, and I love the way it ended.
With the
with a
abdominal
strong
stretch.
finish.
The abdominal
yeah.
stretches. Yep. that was fun.
Say it again.
They're called abdominal stretches, is what they all 3 of them did.
Well, it all worked at the end, and I really thought it was a fun match. So it was a contender, but the other one just was definitely the winner. So that's all I have.
I enjoyed those matches, but I really liked the Yuta solo match. That one was one of
Did
my
you?
favorites. Yeah, it did.
Cool.
And I also, that was kind of a tie between that and Hobbs and Lee and Lee Johnson. So I like that one
Yeah.
too. So those were
Yeah.
2 good ones. But yeah, I mean, it was great entertainment regardless.
Yeah.
I think all of it was really good. So I think the storyline that I saw getting pushed a little bit, there was, you had your little trailers into like Dynamite and Rampage and stuff like that. But the one thing that I noticed that I think is going to be an important part of the storyline is how aggressive Julia was in both of her matches, right?
Yes. That's
Right.
exactly same.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's probably, I think we all agree that was the biggest kind of story push where she just had that nasty attitude and she just beat the shit out of her opponents, man. Just like,
I was watching the first match, right? And I'm like, wow, Julia's really stepped it up. This is great. And I wrote down, I'm like, is she turning heel finally?
yeah.
And then there was in that second match, afterward where the blondes are standing there and they're kind of looking at her like what's
going on
now? Okay, so yes, that's what you want us to think. This is happening, right?
Yes.
So yeah, crazy stuff. I was super excited that they're finally doing that too.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that was really cool. Like, she's got that shit attitude and she's like ready to kick somebody's ass. I'm like, this is cool. I was like, okay, finally, let's keep pushing this. Let's keep pushing this. It's like, when is that other opportunity for her going to be for her to turn? What did you think, Tammy? What pushed the story for you? Do you think the same thing or you think it's something else?
No, I think the same thing for sure. And then I would also add a couple other storyline pushes that were just like more minor sort of hints at things. Hobbs challenged Dante and Dante came out.
Yep.
Remember
that was
that?
cool.
And they all started brawling. So now that's setting up stuff between them, which, those factions are already kind of having beef anyways. And Lee Moriarty challenged everyone in his promo.
That's true. He did.
So he's trying to come out strong, he still has such a gentle voice when he does his promos. He's too happy, but he did say he's there to take down everyone. So I thought that's not like a whole storyline yet, but it's showing that he's going to start stepping it up and challenging more and probably try to go for a title eventually.
Yeah, absolutely. Chris, who stood out for you of the unknowns or the people that don't get on TV a lot? Who stood out for you the most this week?
So because I was so stoked about the Julia Hart thing, like I wrote her name down like 20 times, like this. And when I look back, I'm like, okay, well, I obviously really thought a lot of this, but I've talked about her a lot. Anthony Emery and also Casey Lennox.
Okay. Was Anthony Emery, who did he wrestle this week? I'm trying to look at, was that Lee Moriarty's match?
I believe so. He had the green, black and the green trunks and stuff.
His name is Anthony Henry.
Oh, Henry. I thought I wrote that. I thought I wrote that weird, but yeah, that makes more sense.
That's because that's exactly who I picked too, and I said that
Anthony Henry. I'm sorry about that.
It's okay. It's okay. Anthony, I picked that same too because I'm like, he could be a potentially great heel. That's exactly what I wrote.
They ran that match really well too.
They did. He was one of my favorites too. I mean, that's what I wrote down. Go Anthony Henry, good heel quality. It's like. What did you think, Tammy? Who stood out for you?
Well, I'm now looking back at where's Anthony Henry on any of my notes?
He was on Lee Moriarty. He was on it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I didn't put anything. Okay. So new talent.
Yeah.
I don't know. No new talents were super exciting to me, but I did put Arian Alanis from the Gun Club match. Maybe like he looked good is what I put. Like he did a good job or something. I don't know what I was talking about. And then Queen Animata, of course, always.
Right. Yeah, she's good, man. She's going to be, if she keeps wrestling them, we're starting to see her more. So if she keeps wrestling, she's going to fit in well with the women's division too. So if they get her in there. I'm still disappointed that Sunny Kiss keeps losing. She needs to win more.
Hey.
they need to win more, so that pisses me off.
Yeah, man.
But that's nor here nor there. But it's good to see Sunny on TV. So
Sunny is awesome. I don't know what the deal is. Like, why isn't Sunny on there more? Sunny has so much energy and excitement.
You could say that about a lot of their talent right now. Their roster has inflated so much in the last even 8-9 months. Plus whatever, it grew exponentially the year prior as well. So it's like there's a lot of people that don't get TV time, but the stuff they're giving us is great. I can't think of stuff I want to see eliminated other than that thing we talked about a couple weeks ago, the Brandy Rhodes and the what's her name? Paige Van Zandt.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, other than that, that's the only thing I can think where they wasted TV time. I so wish Sunny Kiss though could be on more. You're absolutely right.
Just because Sunny has a good mix of power and strength, and then like great stage presence, and then also because all the like all that athletic stuff. So it's like strength and athletic stuff, and always like very fast moving. And I think Sunny Kiss's ass should have its own Instagram because it's like two strong boulders that are like muscles that are amaze me. I don't even know how you work those glutes like that. I need to take some workout tips, but yeah. All right.
All right. And then we roll into Wednesday night and the greatest intro I think I've ever seen in my entire life. I don't think I was crying. I was literally had tears in my eyes. I couldn't catch my breath. I mean, ask Tammy. I couldn't even breathe. I was just laughing so hard.
I'm sure. You're doing it now. You can't even talk.
I know he loves him. He loves him. He is him. That's why. That's his alter ego. You know this, Chris.
It's the fucking best. He comes.
It was the greatest. It was hilarious.
Dude, just when Warlow was walking out with the cutouts, I was fucking crying, dude. And here's the funniest shit, man. A couple months ago, we were in my office. We were talking about, hey, man, what would you do if you won the lottery, right? And I'm fucking around. You know, I'm just being a smartass. I go, I would make people carry me around in a chair. I would said that to him. And there comes fucking MJF getting carried in a chair. And I was dying. He's
really, you really are him, essentially.
Yes. This is if Rafe won the bass playing awards of the year. This is his entrance.
Oh, I was dying. Oh, I couldn't. I mean, I'm dying now. I just couldn't even. I couldn't even catch my breath, man. I mean, it was the greatest fucking intro ever in the history I've seen.
It was something.
And then when he made out with that girl, I was like, oh, I hope that's his girlfriend. And then I looked up, it was.
I was like,
that was so over the top.
Thank God it was his girlfriend, man. That would have been like,
we all had to be subjected to that.
They would have Me Too'd him right out of the fucking ring. I mean, it's like, holy shit. Oh, whew. That was the best.
Yeah.
I mean, I have nothing else to say about that unless you guys want to add in.
You don't have anything else to say about everything after and stuff too?
Oh, absolutely. But it was just like, that intro was so great.
Okay, I think we should let Chris go now.
No, I don't really have much to say. I don't really have much to say other than
because you don't have your notes.
About the intro part, like, yeah, it was cool. It was different. That's like it felt very much like late 80s wrestling.
Yes.
It was very like super gimmicky, but it was really fun though. It was entertaining. The cutout part with Wardlow.
Oh,
and Wardlow, see, this is my issue.
All right, what's your issue?
Wardlow's involved in this thing still.
Right.
Yes. I feel like I have to give up hope on this dude because I thought they were gonna do something with him. It was gonna be this thing, and now like it's taken too long. And I mean, he's still doing the same stuff. Like we're still at the same story we were at 2.5 months ago. Like nothing has changed really.
They're gonna do it at the pay-per-view. I know it.
Which one? Revolution?
Yes.
Yeah, but we'll say this every week. It's going to be this.
I know. I heard this the last pay-per-view, I think. Are we 2 pay-per-views in for this?
No. This is the first pay-per-view of the year.
Well, there was the one.
No, this is the first one.
There was something special, Chris. I know what you mean.
It was Battle of the Belt. That's what
Battle of the Belt.
And it wasn't a pay-per-view necessarily, but yeah.
They're going to do it at the pay-per-view. Because think about it. So he comes out, right? And MJF does his thing. And then Punk comes out and FTR challenges him. And then, He's like, all right, I got a tag team. It can't be Darby or Sting. So there, and then if I win, Punk's like, if you win the match, MJF says, anytime, anywhere, we'll wrestle again. So you know what they're doing. They're setting it up for the pay-per-view. Of course. I mean, it's right there. And Wardlow's going to be there. Some shit's going to happen. And then that's where, I mean, people were screaming for Wardlow to turn that night. They were screaming at him. They were chanting his name. They wanted him to turn that night, and he didn't. So I think it's coming on the pay-per-view. That's just me.
I sure hope so.
I sure
hope you're right.
I mean, I hope so too, because we all want to see Wardlow breaking out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Getting out of that.
But we're not going to talk about it anymore now. Let's move on. It takes up too much our precious airtime right now until something.
Well, hold on. 1 second, real quick. Can I just say, I was very confused watching this thing. I watched it like 2 or 3 times trying to figure it all out. Like the first time I watched it, I was like, wait a minute, who's challenging who for what to do what now? Because there was like, how many challenges were there within that, like, what was it, 15 minute? Like it was like, well, I challenge and I accept your challenge. And then I'm not sure who's fighting next week the first time I watched this. Okay. So I watched it again and I was like, okay, I get it. But man, that was really like, why did they do it that way? Where it was like so many changes of, well, if I get a rematch with Wardlow and then I was confused because I have a simple mind and I watched that twice, I think, before I was like, okay, I think I know what's happening now.
Well,
seriously.
Yeah, exactly. It was very confusing. Like, and then FTR steps up and they're going to challenge, and then MJF says, "If you win this match, then I will fight you anywhere, anytime." Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And you're just like, okay. So what's next? So then you just got to kind of wait for the night to move on. So
yeah.
But then after that, Andrade, Sting, and Darby had the meeting, and I thought that was just.
He finally found his boss.
Yeah. He finally found his boss.
I finally found your boss.
Your boss.
Oh my God. That was the greatest line ever. And then Sting does the whole like, didn't you tell this guy already? I'm pretty sure I saw it. Oh my God. I don't know how Andrade is doing this without like laughing his ass off.
Neither do I. I mean, that was killing me. That was funny. What did you think of that, Tammy?
It was fun.
That was pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, we went into the Blade versus Wardlow. Now, I thought this was a really cool match. I like the Blade, and I don't think people give the Blade enough credit where credit is due. He's a great wrestler, man. I mean, period. And he brought, and the cool part about this was that Wardlow had to really kind of go the distance, you know?
Yeah.
He had to go to distance. He had to show like that he had some stamina and that he could go a couple rounds in the ring, and that he's got just more than one move. And so, and I thought that was a perfect way to do it, because I think the Blade matched up really well with him, because the Blade's got a lot of good moves too. And the Blade he's very athletic, and he can flip off the ropes and do a lot of that shit too, which is what I've seen in those past matches. So, obviously Wardlow showed his power, and that one overhead throw was sick. He almost pitched him out of the fucking ring on that one. And so, but I thought it was really cool, man, because it really kind of pushed Wardlow to that extra mile, which is going to happen if he's fighting these other wrestlers, especially if he does another match against Punk, or he tries to do anything with Danielson or anybody else that's more of a technical wrestler. Wardlow's going to have his shit together for this to be able to to have a convincing win or a convincing loss for that matter. So I don't know, Tammy, what was your thoughts before we get into Chris's opinion on it?
No, go ahead and get into Chris's opinion. I don't really have anything to add. I mean, I feel like you covered it.
Okay. What do you think, Chris?
Well, I mean, it was nice that Wardlow had to go the distance, like you said. I think that for me was like, okay, maybe they are building him a little bit. Maybe they are going to do something soon. it was nice because we've seen so many squash matches.
Yeah.
So many. I was gonna try to go back and figure out how many I saw that I could remember, and I got over like 15, and I was like, okay, I need to. That would be like serious research to write down how many it's been like that. But yeah, it was good to see him doing that. I hope they're moving forward with him soon. I was impressed with Wardlow and his physical, like just the fact that he can just throw somebody around like that. But then later on in the evening, I was like, wait a minute. Now I remember there's other people that do that too, but we'll talk about that shortly.
Yeah, no problem. So then after that, we went to the Penta promo where they show Penta going through the grave, dragging the shovel, and then digging up the mask. Now,
Yep.
I did not understand that really.
Okay.
I don't know, Tammy, did you get any of that? Or do you
Well,
remember
whose mask
that?
was it?
It was Penta's mask.
It was his.
Oh,
But he
then I don't
brought
get
it,
it.
he dug it up from the grave. So I didn't get it.
Is he
Now,
reborn again from the devil or the hell or something?
no, Chris might seems like he
I
knows
think
with the
Chris,
grin
I
on
think
his
we
face.
need to hear Chris's thoughts on this.
All right, go ahead.
So the biggest theory right now, based on what you see, is that he is going to revert to a different version, an older version of his character, which he did in Lucha Underground for a while. It was at the time, I think it was Pentagon Dark. But it's like you know how normally his suits and stuff all have like very like high contrast kind of designs where it's like a very light color, like a silver or a gold or something like that on a black.
Yeah.
And he does the white makeup and stuff. Well, the Pentagon Dark character was basically just like stealthed out, all black, like, and even his face paint was mainly dark. And it's just kind of more like a darker side, I guess. Even though I don't really feel there's a huge difference in the styles. I kind of think he always sort of wrestles the same no matter what character he is, but he does get a little bit more vicious, I guess, if you really analyze it. Yeah. So we're looking at something that's been done, but it's been a very long time, and it's not something that you would associate him with now. And I think it's going to be very interesting to see if it becomes the same sort of character. Yeah.
Now, do you think that this character goes to the House of Black, or do you just think that this is another revenge thing like Pax was?
I have a weird theory about the House of Black stuff right now and the spit and everything. What if just going through this process just turns people heel? You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the basic way of saying, like, what if it just darkens everyone's character? Maybe they don't go House of Black. Maybe that's not what the end game is. Maybe he's just changing people's character. Like, maybe it's that simple.
Yeah,
maybe they're not all going to be together. I don't know.
That's a good theory, though. Go ahead, Tammy.
I was kind of thinking along the same line as Chris with an additional, eventually they do all show up together at one point later on down the line, unexpectedly. Like they all do their own thing. Like Chris said, they're darker, but eventually one day something occurs. I don't know what yet, where they all show up together.
That could be it. That could be it. Only time will tell on that one, baby. All right.
I mean, we're seeing it with Julia now. We're seeing it with Pac. We're seeing it now with Penta. We haven't seen Cody in a while, and Cody was like a earlier victim of this stuff when this all started. So maybe they've kept him off to pull him into this storyline. I wouldn't be surprised.
Right. That's a good point. He was
And
hit with a mist.
Dante, didn't he have Black Mist?
I think there was a couple more. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's
So
a
maybe this thing is like the gift that keeps on giving, like the storyline that just spreads, just like the spit would, I guess.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. So then after that, we had Jericho with the Inner Circle meeting. You know, Proud and Powerful were out late, and then you know, they got their typical argument, right, coming up, and then Sammy gets in there and he throws his Inner Circle jacket down, I don't know how I really felt about this. Tammy, how did you feel about this whole thing?
I don't know. I'm just not invested in it really. To
You're
be
not
honest.
invested
I
in
mean,
the whole inner
I like
circle?
all of those wrestlers, separately. I think we've already touched on this exact thing already, like a bunch of times, how we feel like, yeah, we don't like seeing them all break up. We don't like the way
Yep.
that they're doing it, but we understand that some people have to do their own thing, and this is a way that they're doing it. Not the best way. They could be dig a little deeper and do a little better. So that's all I have to say about it. I think we've covered it extensively already, actually.
Chris?
I have one thing I will add to all of that because you're right. We have talked about it before. So Sammy has already done this whole I quit thing. And for me, this is repetitive now. So that was the only thing I was kind of disappointed in. Other than that, I thought it was cool. I really enjoyed Santana talking. I love him on the microphone.
Yeah, he was good on the mic, man. He really did well. I mean, I thought he was great on the mic. I've never heard him talk on the mic. So that was the first time I heard him talk. So that was pretty awesome. And Jericho always has his lines, and he's just like Jericho's like every lead singer in every band.
He's starting to get really cringy though, man. Like
Yeah.
some of his stuff, I'm like, and I'm a big Jericho fan. So some of the stuff now I'm watching, I'm like, what? Okay.
Well, the line he had on Rampage was even funnier. We'll get to that. Anyway, so then they had the Roppongi Vice versus the Bucks brawl segment there, and we had the introduction of Switchblade Jay White. So that should be cool. I don't know. I don't really know much about Jay White, so I don't have
Bullet Club, man. Bullet Club.
I knew he was part of the New Japan, and I knew he's part of the Bullet Club, but I've never really taken any deep dive into it. I knew that Trent and Rocky were part of that whole thing over there in Japan too, and I know that they wrestled the Bucks a million times. But yeah, we'll get to that match at Rampage, which I thought was a great match anyway. But we'll get into that. Curious to see how Switchblade comes around, and he looks like a menacing character, so should be pretty cool. What's your opinion on that, Chris?
I'm excited to see it. He's been doing some stuff in Impact. So I guess maybe they're done with that for a minute. I can't remember how that ended, but that was recently. And then Tony, I guess, did a couple. I don't know if he was tweeting about it or what, but I read somewhere or heard something or watched something that said he was like, yeah, I secured him Sunday. And it was like, oh, okay. Last minute is last minute. Cause I guess Tony was he was saying how he kind of butchered his own definition of what the forbidden door is.
Right.
So then he was like, yeah, I guess none of this makes sense. And so he just did what he could for an extra surprise. Yeah, I thought it was cool, man. I think he's going to be great. He's going to fit in with a lot of the stuff that's happening right now.
Yeah, that's cool. And then after that, we had so then what came next was Isaiah versus He Is Limitless Keith Lee. And now I about shit my pants when I watched that man wrestle. I've never seen him before, but man, when he was standing there and jumped from a stand and jumped over the top of Isaiah Cassidy, a 349-pound man, I shit my pants. I was like, holy shit, who is this guy, man? He was amazing. He threw Cassidy dude. Oh, that was one of the most entertaining segments, probably one of the most entertaining matches of this week, and all of them were good. So for that one to be that entertaining, that one was a whole nother level of entertaining. I mean, I cannot wait to see him wrestle everybody else in AEW, everybody else. I don't know who's gonna fuck with him, man. Dude, it's like wrestling a boulder or something, man. Holy shit. Tammy, what did you think of Limitless Keith Lee?
Oh, I thought he was a delight, and I loved his chill vibe, his smiles. He looked like he was having the best time. He looked like the greatest person in the whole wide world that you just want to hang out with. That he's just, to me, joy. That's what I felt, and I loved he is another type that I haven't seen. Like we have big guys, but he was totally different than the other big guys.
Yes.
So it's cool to see a new type of wrestler that has a little bit of a different body type with a slightly different, unique skill set, you know?
Yeah.
Yes.
Chris, you're chomping at the bit. Talk about
Well,
Keith.
So I already, I'm very familiar with Keith Lee. I'm super stoked. I'm not gonna go into like a whole bunch of stuff. There's like a billion reasons I love this guy, and he's just a fantastic performer. He's like top level, so good. You know what I mean? And the whole thing about being a dude his size and doing these things, it's unreal. The fact that he's like that confident and that like badass when he does this stuff. I mean, he's just there. You can't ask for like more realism in a character than somebody like Keith Lee, because we're talking about a giant man that goes and does these like amazing, and then still is so athletic and can do like crazy stuff off the ropes and stuff. Like I'm like I said, I'm very familiar with Keith Lee, so I could talk a long time. I'm so excited to see him. He looks super happy. I'm so happy for him. I can't wait to see what happens next with him, because all of it's going to be good.
It's going to be brilliant. I mean, I felt like when I was watching that match, I really thought I was watching a sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
And I was like watching a giant fight somebody in some like crazy ring, like Escape from New York type of style movie. I mean, it's what it felt like. And it was just, it was great. I was like, this is fantastic. I'm like, how are they going to up themselves now? AEW keeps cranking up the ladder. That's why we have to expect those weeks that may not be as good as these. You know what I mean? So it's like hard to like wrap your head around it. So, but yeah, it's cool. It's going to be fun down the road. Then we had the DMD TR no DQ match promo, and then that went in. That should be, we'll talk about that when that gets there. The Sammy cards, he had his cards going. I can't even remember what were on the cards.
Who cares?
Yeah, I don't remember now.
Nah, nobody even
So
cares.
not important.
It wasn't that great.
It didn't feel important at all.
That's what my notes said, by the way. It says, I don't need these cards.
Well, thanks, Sammy.
But I thought it was, but they listened to you all, because didn't you mention cards should be at the when they make you do the picture in picture? So I thought that was great timing.
And that's when they use them, and I was saying that's awesome that they do that. So I'm glad I mean, if that was a segment that was during regular TV time, I don't think it would slide.
No, not at all. So then we came out and we had FTR versus CM Punk, and everybody was biting their nails on who CM Punk's partner was going to be. And then out comes the wild man himself, Jon Moxley. Were you surprised? Let me ask you that, Chris. Were you surprised it was Mox?
Yeah, for sure.
How about you, Tammy? Were you surprised? I think I was a little bit surprised, but then kind of not surprised, because like, that's like a great pairing, and it's like it kind of makes sense. What did you think of the match overall, Chris?
I mean, there was a lot of great stuff in it. So these two as a tag team, I really dig it. It was cool. It's not something I want to see like all the time. You know what I mean? Right. I just like Mox by himself, I think, more than anything else. And like even with Eddie Kingston and all that stuff that they did together. And plus I've seen him do a bunch of tag stuff before. I just think he's just much better on his own. I think everything about him plays better when he's on his own.
I think this was a fun thrown together type of match. I don't expect them to ever be really a tag team, because they're just like you said, they're two individuals that's not going to work as a tag. But from time to time, sprinkling a little bit of seasoning on top of the wrestling, that works really well. And I thought that was really cool that they did that. And Mox was, of course, out of control. What did JR call him? JR said he's a 4-wheel off-road vehicle. That's what he called Moxley. I thought was great. I was like, that's the greatest line. Tammy,
That's such a JR line.
it's such a JR line. Tammy, what did you feel? How did you feel about that match?
I'll just read my notes.
Oh, yes. Let's hear the notes.
I haven't read my notes yet. I'm trying to see if I can read them. Some of these, I'm not sure what it even means, but here. Mox is taking care of FTR. Double DDT on FTR. CM did some flying with Moxley, finishing off with a suicido. And this doesn't make sense. I don't know what I'm talking about here. Some brutal fishing off on a table? I don't know. Nobody was fishing. Is there a move called fishing? This had to be some kind of weird moment where I was high and I wrote the wrong thing because I have no idea what that means. So there's some brutal fishing with a table involved, and then CM and Mox is in the stands. FTR throws Mox on a table. Dax choking Mox out, and a lot of jumps on Moxley. CM Punk comes back to life while Mox is down. Punk gets, I don't even know what this says. H.2 with some device. Oh, maybe hit. Maybe that's what it was supposed to say. Hit with some device.
H.2.
I think that's a new tag team or a new move.
That's funny.
You heard it here first. With some device by Cash Wheeler. So I never knew what the device was that anybody was getting hit with. I just put it was a device. Was it a radio or something?
The ring bell.
Oh.
It was the ring bell, Tammy.
And then Mox broke up a big rig. I put Mox broke up a big rig.
Yeah, that was their move. It's called the big rig.
Oh, is it called a big rig? Oh, okay. I'm just reading as I wrote it. Mox and Punk pull it off was the ultimate consensus. And
yeah, it was the GTS and the paradigm shift is what ended it for FTR. I will say this, I thought this was, I really liked the way Punk wrestled in this match.
Agreed.
I thought like
switched up a little bit.
I think
he was vicious.
I think he picked it up. I think his rust is finally getting off of him from being out of the ring. He's getting the reps in. And he looked great in this match. Him and Mox looked great. And of course, I mean, that has a lot to do with FTR too. And people have to understand that. FTR is so good at what they do.
Okay, why are you lecturing everyone about it? Nobody's saying anything bad about them. Who's everybody?
I'm just saying.
You're like, everybody needs to learn their lesson about FTR.
He's not wrong. There's a lot of people.
Nobody's arguing with you, Ray.
There's a lot of people that don't get it.
Oh, really? Who are these people?
I mean, I'd say FTR probably, even in AEW, I'd say probably maybe they have a 50-50. Like 50% of people think that like they get it, and 50% of people are like, why are they even here? I'm sure.
I guarantee you,
I like them, but we're not supposed to.
Yeah, right, but it's more of like they're not good wrestlers sort of a thing, and like they're amazing, and the whole thing is they lose a lot because they sell really well.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like they don't. This is a scripted outcome.
Yeah,
people are like, oh, they lose so much.
Yeah,
that's their job, bro. Like they go in there and they kill it and lose really well, and you think they're gonna win every time because they're doing their job.
Because
but they do win.
Absolutely right.
Sometimes.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate you backing me up on that. I mean, I want people to know that FTR are fucking great wrestlers.
Well, why didn't you buy their shirt at Pro Wrestling Tees then? Because if you support them so much, you didn't, did you?
No, I didn't.
Tell everyone whose shirt you bought.
What do you mean?
You can't buy everyone's shirt.
Well, I want to.
I wish I could.
I have
buy everybody.
I have a House of Black shirt, and then I've got a AEW horoscope shirt.
Okay, well, I fully expect before the year's out that you sport a FTR shirt because you believe in them so strongly.
Fine, I will. I'll buy an FTR shirt and I'll wear it.
There's a lot of good ones.
There are.
Oh, we gotta look at them.
I have no problem wearing an FTR shirt because they do their job. Like just like Chris says, they get paid for losing.
They're so good at losing, man.
And they're so good at it.
They make people look amazing.
They do. And they made Mox and Punk look great. There couldn't have been a better pairing of that, of having that big match. Now, why they put that match within the storyline, I have no idea. It's just like another stepping stone to keep this MJF Punk thing going.
It was fun.
It was definitely fun, and I loved it. And
I mean, they're a part of the pinnacle. It's not too far off.
It's not too far off. But, and I think it was a good way to, get Mox back in the ring and have everybody seeing Mox because everybody wants to see Mox anyway. So, I mean, he was almost getting a bigger pop than Punk at that point. Really, he was. So I thought that was really cool. All right, so let's move on. The next match was Jade Cargill versus AQA, which, by the way, AQA did get signed to AEW just recently. If I were going to grade this from A, B to C, I would give this a C- on the scale. I thought AQA was trying her damnedest to really lift this match, and I think she did a good job. I think she's a better wrestler than Jade just because Jade doesn't have enough experience. And I could see why Tony Khan signed her because she's really good. But it was just, again, this was just like an okay match. Tammy, how did you feel about this?
I felt the same way. I mean, I there was no impression actually made on me by AQA. What does AQA stand for?
I mean, she did a great sling blade on Jade. She did a great
but
DDT
it's my
on
opinion
her.
right now, not yours.
I'm just kind of like, she did a wonderful shooting star off the top rope on her. She did a lot of good moves. Go ahead.
Do you have anything else to say? Is it my turn? All right. She made no impression on me. I'm gonna bye. And let's see. It was a decent match. I think it went longer than it needed to.
You think it went longer than it needed to?
Yes, I did. I thought it was I don't know. It felt like it could have been resolved faster. That's what my notes say.
Yeah.
I knew.
Is that a wardrobe change? Yes. Oh my God. Dude, you gotta wear a ring if you're gonna keep doing that. Man.
Exactly. We gotta get him one.
Don't you have something that would work? See? There we go. There it is.
All right. Oh, you go, Chris. Did you talk about this match yet?
I'm just getting fucking ragged on by my wife. So,
I got so sidetracked. Which match are we talking about now?
But you deserved it. I was talking Jade. And you were arguing with me about my own opinion. So,
Where were we?
Jade,
we're talking about AQA debut against Jade.
Okay. So, yes. AQA. Is that how you say it?
AQA.
I'm sure there's a pronunciation.
I have no idea.
Aqua.
Aqua, maybe. Yeah. I think it was a valiant effort. I think she did great for what she had to work with. I think Jade is definitely getting better. I've definitely seen improvement every match. Every match, it's just a little bit better, a little bit sharper, a little bit cleaner, a little bit better timed. But it's it's a really long process. I'm still in shock that we have a title on somebody that looks this fresh. You know what I mean? It's just very not ready to me.
It makes me angry actually, because I feel like it, like you said, it makes it mean less. And I'm a Jade. I like Jade too.
She's an attraction, and yes, she deserves a title run at some point, but they've got to you've got to protect this character
Yeah.
We're pushing her as this. She's a badass. She's a steamroller. It has to really look like that. You know what I mean? Yeah, but it was definitely an improvement. We're getting there. There was something I heard or read or something. She's working with Bryan Danielson now. I guess maybe for the last few weeks, maybe longer. I don't know. But he's kind of, I guess, training her a little bit, maybe just giving her tips. I'm not sure what the extent is, but if that's what's happening, it's improving it. I hope they get her. I hope she gets more involved with some old school wrestlers, and kind of gets sort of the seasoned opinion of how a match should be laid out and how it should work, and what timing especially is so important. And that's like it's something that it takes time to learn how to do, but you can get better if you really work on it and understand why things are timed a certain way. Yeah. I'm looking forward to her future, but I wish they hadn't done all this so fast with her.
Concur.
Same.
So then after that, they had the like a Bucks Adam Cole promo, and then we got into the Serena Deeb, Katie Arquette, basically the 5-minute rule,
like a beat the clock kind of thing.
Tammy, what I know you're like a huge Deeb fan, so what was your thoughts on this one?
Love it. Badass. She should be the champion. That's what pisses me off. This woman is amazing. She's badass. She could do anything with anyone, and she should have a title there. And so when you see people struggling that have a title, and then you have a Deebs in your stable, then it just doesn't seem right. So I hope that she works her way into that. She is the professor. I love it. She did it, 1 minute? She destroyed. So I put 5-minute rookie challenge. Deeb destroys Arquette in 1 minute. And that was with her playing around.
Yeah.
She was purposely playing around and wasting time to do it all in 1 minute. So I thought it was fun.
Chris.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with all that, actually. Deeb needs to be used a lot more and used more importantly. In honesty, I wish that we had Jade Cargill working with someone like that, because that personality, that character, that level of talent, the timing in the ring, all of that is perfect for what needs to happen in the future. Yeah, you're absolutely right, though. I mean,
well, let me ask you guys this.
I don't know why we're not. It doesn't make sense that they have such a talented individual and they're not going with that route. I don't.
Well, let me ask you this though. But I think, where do you think they're going with her? Serena's coming up a lot. Ever since she came back from her injury, she's back in the game.
Yeah, she's on every week.
So how they're using her and where they're going to take this, what do you think they're going to do? Tammy, where do you think they're going to take her?
Well, I mean, and her promos are excellent. I think they're one of the best out of all the women's. They're so well produced. She's really fierce. She has a very strong message that's consistent. Every single one of her promos. You're never confused. It's never like, what on earth is going on? And so what I'm hoping it is that she's coming in with her fierceness and she's going to take every single person down. Like she says, there's no one on her level. No one can beat her. And I want her to fight every single person there and prove that to everybody and get a title. I hope that's where this is going. This is where I hope it's going, but I don't want to put too much hopes on it and be disappointed, but this is what they're definitely going for, a title match with her. But I really believe, I don't know which one, but I believe that she is going that direction. So, but I don't want to get disappointed and put too much thought into it. But I mean, I don't know where else you would take someone like that. Right. Where else would she go? She's not one to sit around and be idle. So
where do you think they're going, Chris?
I'm really not sure. We're talking about somebody who multiple decades, I believe now in the industry, the business, whatever you want to call it. I hope they do something that she really deserves. What she needs is a good title run, and maybe not with the what is it, the TBS championship, maybe not that,
You think the AEW
I
women's?
think she should have Britt's title right now. I mean, that's the top game, right? You
Yeah.
give it to somebody like that. You let somebody have a run up to getting that off of her. You know what I mean? That's how you build other people. Yes, she's doing everything backstage, I'm sure, with a lot of the performers training, doing whatnot, because that's just from what I understand, that's the type of person that she is she just shares all of her knowledge and everything she can do to help because she loves it so much. And that's fantastic. But I mean, careers are only so long, right?
Right.
So I don't know. I don't know how long you could put off something like this with someone of this caliber at this stage in their career. Not it has age has nothing to do with it. It's just kind of where you get and how badly your body can be burnt out, things like that from doing this for so many years. Yeah.
No, right.
don't
Yeah.
know.
We'll see. So then after that match, we had a promo with the Jurassic Express and the Gun Club. And then we got into one of the wildest matches in AEW I've seen in AEW for a while. This was the Texas Death Match. Who wants to start this one out? Tammy?
Not me. I'm still reviewing my notes on it.
Chris?
Yeah. I really love Hangman. I mean,
It's awesome. Dude, it's
but
awesome.
but Lance Archer, this whole kind of newish Lance Archer that we've had for the last, I don't know how many weeks has it been now, 5, 6, 7 weeks, something like that.
Yeah, about that.
It's very intriguing and very entertaining. And the fact that we're seeing another like mega huge match for Hangman is substantial to me, because what we're doing with Adam Page, what they're doing with him is this guy's going to have a legacy now of these huge matches early in AEW's, you know what I mean? Like even being a thing 10, 15 years from now, if AEW is thriving the way it should be, this is going to be like one of the top stars from the early days. And we're talking about somebody that hasn't had these kind of big wrestling moments, and maybe doesn't get the recognition because there's never that point of like huge spectacle with him. And I think Lance Archer obviously is this, to me, this kind of, it didn't hurt him, but it made me feel less threatened by him, I will say. Like he doesn't seem as unstoppable now as he did before. And I don't know if that was the right call right now with him being kind of fresh still back. Yeah, I liked it. It was an insane, crazy match. The whole barbed wire around the arm with the top rope gone, and then he did the buckshot lariat over the ref and all that, and through the table. That was so innovative and so crazy. But I wonder, like, obviously Hangman's benefiting huge from this. I don't feel like Lance Archer is benefiting how he should from this match.
I agree with a few of those points, but I also want to interject and add this into it. They want to show that Hangman Adam Page has got the toughness, and the way that they ran that match, I feel that it was a convincing way to beat a monster. All right. And that Adam had not only had to use his power, but he had to use his brain to beat him.
Yeah.
And I think that that's what they're illustrating with him as being a champion. That not only does he, number one, he's got the stamina. Number two, he's got the techniques that he can hang with an Omega and a Danielson. But now he's got the brains to beat an opponent that is much bigger than him. Excuse me. So I think that they laid it out perfect. Even though Archer came across as this monster, that's the build. That's the tension. You could see it in Hangman's face that, like, I'm scared to do this. So I've got to come up with a technique. And that technique was perfect because They didn't even start the match. He starts beating his ass and he throws him through the plate grass window. That's like a sneak attack. If he didn't get that upper hand early on, they could have scripted that match completely differently. You see what I mean? So that's why I think that, I don't think Lance Archer is going to be less than the crazy monster he's going to be. He's going to rip through other people and try to go get another shot at it. I have a feeling, but because he's going to, say, you got me this time, but I'm going to get you next time. And I'm not going to fall for the same shit that he's going to expect for that. So I thought this was a great match for both Archer and for Page. And I still think it gives Archer credibility because he basically kind of got outsmarted and in a way, and that's how he lost. I don't know. What do you think, Tammy? What's your opinions on this one?
I think you all both covered it. There's not really nothing more for me to add. I think you did a good job of that. And I thought it did make it plausible I was wondering how they were going to do that for Hangman to win over Lance. So I thought it all was a lot of fun and a lot of weirdness, even with the like fork in the mouth and all that kind of stuff. So we got to see extra elements of bizarreness of Lance's rage and monsterness, and like you said, saw the technique of thinking things through with Hangman, and I thought it was a lot of fun. And I really like whatever you all both said. I mean, I would just be repeating the same stuff. So.
And Chris, what did you think of Adam Cole coming up at the end and putting the belt over Hangman's shoulder?
I mean, what else are you gonna do with Adam Cole right now, huh?
Is that what you think?
So, I mean, we're talking about a guy he's got like a title destiny, right, in this company. So it's not really surprising. I wouldn't have. I mean, who else would they have done next? This is a guy who's kind of right in that spot right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Adam Cole is gonna win if these guys get together.
I think they're going to get together much sooner than later.
Yeah, I don't think there's gonna be a title switch.
What did you think of Adam Cole walking in, Tammy? Any opinion on that?
No.
But it's Adam Cole, baby.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to Rampage, man. Rampage started out really cool, man. First of all, I'm very biased. I'll watch the Young Bucks wrestle 7 days out of the week, so I don't really care. They can wrestle whoever the fuck they want, and I'll still love it. So I just love the Bucks. But I thought this was really cool because obviously it was kind of like igniting that old school New Japan wrestling type of thing, and they were bringing it to the US and bringing it to a bigger audience and bringing it to, well, not necessarily a bigger audience, but a US audience. And all these guys, obviously you can see they're all such great athletes, and they've all been doing it so long, and they all know how to wrestle each other, and they all know how to lift each other up. And the coordinated moves that they do with one another, it's like art. I mean, it's really great. And but it was really funny because they pulled Danhausen out of the bottom, and he comes and puts the curse on everybody. I can't wait to see Danhausen wrestle. That's going to be fun. It's going to be so great. Everybody loves him. And then Jericho says they're going to have a Roppongi Vice party all over their face. And Ricky Starks says, I don't think I would use that terminology. And I was dying at that. Oh my gosh. Wow. I wasn't expecting the Bucks to win though. I really thought that Roppongi Vice was going to win. So I thought that was a nice twist for me, at least. But overall, I think it was a super fun match, and I'm glad that Bucks were to see them, period. And I think that I'm not sure where they're going to go with all their story. They kind of left things they kind of left that whole plot line with the tension between Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly. They just kind of left it alone for right now. So
Kyle O'Reilly's doing paternity leave right now.
oh, okay. Okay. So that's probably why they got all that on hold. So
Yeah, it's like a little cool down.
right, gotcha. What do you think, Tammy? What did you think of that match?
I'll read my notes as well as I can, but honestly, they start to go all around. So I'm not going to read them all. I don't know. You can't see them here. Can you? Anyways, so I put, this is fun. Orange Cassidy disappears and Danhausen appears to curse. Trent got rolled on his head. Coordinated apron slam. Always fun. Coordination with Young Bucks. Interesting faux tag bit. So I said, Young Bucks are a clown show and I'm here for it. Romero rebounds. Well-matched teams. Super kick BTA for the win. Bucks win.
Yeah.
I had other notes, but we won't. They're too random and abstract.
I wouldn't use that terminology. What did you think, Chris?
Man, the Young Bucks, it's so fun watching them wrestle.
Oh, it's a joy.
It's like you said before, like I'm biased. Like I would watch Young Bucks wrestle every show.
Yeah.
Like and not ever get bored with it. Roppongi Vice was great. I don't know. I like Trent a lot. You guys know this. I'm not a huge Rocky Romero fan, so it was cool with Orange Cassidy out there in the under the ring thing, and then Danhausen came out. This whole Danhausen thing is great. The problem is it's such a better character. Like he's such a better character than he is a wrestler. Once he starts actually having matches, if they do that, maybe they won't. Maybe they'll just keep him as a character. Like his injury will heal up and everything, and he'll be fine. But he'll still just be like this weird random side guy. That'd be cool because I mean his wrestling is okay. He's not the Young Bucks. You know what I'm saying? He's not
Right.
Orange Cassidy. He's not. There's not enough there in ring work wise. Like talent, yes, but his actual like matches just don't hold that kind of high caliber. So this interesting stuff that he can do on the side is going to be what's best for him. But yeah, I mean, we're talking about, like you said, they're rehashing stuff that they've done in other promotions, in America too, probably. I think. Yeah, I wouldn't complain about this match. It was a cool way to start the show, and it was actually maybe better than. Maybe you don't agree with this. You guys might not, but I thought it was maybe better than the Jurassic Express match, as like a tag match.
Yeah, I'm leaning that. I lean that way too. I had a couple of notes on that myself. So
Yeah.
so then after that we got the Hobbs versus Dante Martin qualifier match is what's going to happen. So that's, we'll see. They've met before and they've had matches before, so that should be interesting. And then we got Bryan Danielson speaking. And while he was talking, Matt Sydal comes out with Lee Moriarty, and that turns into Lee and Danielson for Wednesday night. So
I literally wrote down, you shouldn't have done that.
no. I mean, Lee is going to get the shit kicked out of him and definitely learn a lesson. We'll see how that goes with the storyline, with all the things that he was saying that he wanted to recruit all those guys so that he could be the leader of AEW along with Moxley. So we never kind of got a conclusion to that. So I guess we're going to have to wait on that one. So we'll see. So then after that one, we got into the Robin Renegade versus Britt Baker. Now the non-title match. Explain the non-title match to Tammy, because she got real pissed at the non-title match.
Yeah, but can I explain that first?
Yeah, of course you can.
If I'm a champion and you beat me, then I'm obviously not a champion of everything anymore, regardless if there's a freaking belt or a title or whatever. So I don't understand this. If I can be beat, then I'm not the champion. I don't care what you call the match. So what's the point? Okay, now that's how I feel about it. So Chris, see what, if
what's
you
your
can set me
take
straight on this.
I tend to agree. I think if a champion is fighting, the title should be on the line. I'll watch a match if there's no title on the line, but like it takes the gas out of the whole thing before it even gets going.
Yes.
And Robin Renegade especially, like at least make it make it a title shot. Like, okay, don't let her take the title, but make it a title shot. Make it important. Why have a match like this if there's no stakes? You know what I mean?
Well, I think Robin did a great job.
Absolutely.
I think that people wanted to see Britt Baker wrestle. I don't think she's wrestled in a bit. And, of course, at the end, that was setting up the Thunder Rosa deal against Mercedes Martinez again. So that was part of your program. Now, I like the fact that Jamie Hayter and Mercedes Martinez are kind of like at odds. And I'm hoping that Jamie whips her ass, but we'll see. But I'm biased, of course.
What does that tell you? Like the best part about this match was all that stuff at the end. It didn't even have anything to do with the actual match.
Yeah, I mean that's true, and it was kind of like it felt like that match was more filler for the setup for the next match for that, the Thunder Rosa Mercedes Martinez match. What did you think, Tammy? What's your thoughts?
I mean, I really like to watch Britt wrestle. So I always enjoy seeing her wrestle, but this was just boring until it got exciting when Thunder came out. Then I was awake again. The other one, it wasn't that exciting for me. And really, Britt should have just taken out Robin really quickly. I think it went too long for who was fighting who. Or wrestling who. Do we call it fighting? I don't know. Is that something you're not supposed to say in wrestling? You say wrestling who?
It's fine. You could say that.
Does it matter?
Whatever you want.
Is there like bad manners? Okay. Anyways, then Thunder came out and I loved how she took out Rebel on the way too.
Yeah, she did.
I love that. And attacked Britt and all that. Like that to me was more exciting than the actual match. The actual match was not exciting to me. And maybe I was just negative because it was a non-title thing. But I also just felt like having someone be a newcomer and you're the champion, then that should have been a 1-minute match.
Right.
So that's how I felt about it.
All right. Then after that, we had the Legit versus Chris Statlander promo. That was a little bit better. That was the better of the bunch on that promo.
Better for who?
I mean, better overall. It was a little bit more.
Legit was better, not Chris.
Not that great. They need some work on getting that done. The match is probably going to be a hell of a lot better than their promos. So, because they're two very powerful wrestlers. And so I think it's going to be fun to watch that. So,
yes.
And then after that, we got into the Hook versus Blake Lee. Now, here's the thing that I don't understand. Blake Lee was supposed to be this star pupil student. They didn't give the guy an intro. They didn't barely talk anything about the guy. All you seen was Edward Scissorhands come in the ring and kick this dude's ass all over the place.
Edward Scissorhands isn't violent.
I don't understand. And maybe I'm not, maybe I'm just because I'm an old piece of shit that I don't understand this, but I don't get it. I think Hook has got some good moves. I enjoy watching his moves, but this whole thing that they got going on around him, first of all, he's only ever wrestled on Rampage. Number one. Hook.
Oh, yes? Only?
Oh, we've never.
Wasn't he on Dark once or twice?
No. When?
Right towards the beginning when they started putting him on TV.
Nope. Rampage.
Did you verify your facts, Ray?
No, but I will.
Confidently.
I am saying it very confidently. I've never seen him on Dark.
Because you looked it up?
He very well may be right.
I will look it up.
Okay.
He's only wrestled on Rampage that I've ever seen him wrestle on. Okay. He does have great moves. He does. But why did they hype this up like this is QT's pupil student? And it was just like, I mean, you could have just, dressed the guy that sells the concessions and thrown him in there and have him get his ass kicked. And it would have been the same thing.
Oh,
wait a minute. That would be a brilliant storyline, actually.
I mean, seriously, the guy that walks
What?
up and down selling Bud Lights could have
Yep.
just gone in there
I
and
want that to happen now at a show. I want the guy selling the Bud Lights to end
rip
up
his
in
jacket
the
off.
ring. Yes, I do. Please let this happen one day.
He's got his tray, you know, he's what good problem?
Throws it at him, throws all the beers at him.
Yeah.
I want to see Hook wrestle somebody legit. You know what I mean? Not like Serpentico and this fucking clown. Come on, man. Wrestle someone that could actually probably kick your ass. Put fucking Archer in against him. Let's see how fucking Hook is. Hook will fucking have a fork up his asshole and shooting out his nose by the end of it. Right? Right? It's like, whatever, dude. You know, for real. I'm getting sick of this fucking shit. I really am. Oh, enough with this nepotism. I'm done. All right, great. All right, here comes Hook. All right. Was he gonna beat up some chubby kid in the crowd? I mean, whatever.
What?
Right? This is what it's coming to. It's just like random dudes.
Oh God.
Look how great Hook is. Sure.
Listen, at least this week it was a little more drawn out. We got a little more was this his longest match?
I mean, sure.
This felt like his longest match so far. It seemed like maybe he wasn't just going in and destroying a random person this time. It's a little better than what we normally get, right?
Sure.
I thought he wrestled well.
He does wrestle well.
I wrote down like maybe he's getting better.
He does wrestle well.
Blakely isn't impressing anyone, and Hook wrestled well. Those are my only two notes for him. I mean, the thing is with Hook is, from a marketing standpoint, I understand it because he's young, and if he looks like he could have been on a teeny bopper show like 90210, whatever they watch nowadays, that's the equivalent.
That dude could show up on Nickelodeon tomorrow.
Riverdale.
Yes, so you have young fans that are gonna grow with you. You know what I mean? That are gonna grow as you grow. So I could see that, and he's definitely, as a new person, he's definitely a good beginner. Like, he's very good at the matches he's done. He hasn't looked unprofessional in any way, shape, or form. It's just that we don't understand. I think I don't understand instant hype, but that I understood it for the first time with Keith Lee, though. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know him. I don't have any history like you do, Chris, but I immediately was like, yes, I'm all on board. Number one, I'll have a sign for Keith Lee like tomorrow. So it's like, maybe that's what it is. And so if that's not your person, you don't get the immediate response. I generally like to have someone prove who they are to me before I'm all in. So that's why with Hook, I have no real opinion about him because I need to see what he can do. And as to what you all were saying, you know, he hasn't, like, he's wrestling the vendor or whatever. He's not wrestling names. So if he wrestles a name and he does well, then he can gain everyone's respect. But he's not doing that. But other people automatically already like him. So I think we're in the minority on how we feel about the whole thing. But from a marketing standpoint, he's a younger demographic and those people will grow. So, you know, and what I've noticed about wrestling fans is something I love about wrestling fans is that they grow with you, that you grow with your people. Like, it isn't the latest trend. Like, how old Sting in his 60s? Those people that loved him like 40 years ago, or I don't know, however long he wrestled, still love him now. I don't know. I'm making up numbers here, people. Okay.
He was wrestling when he was 8.
If he's 60, he would be 20. You see what I mean? Probably the same age as Hook.
Right.
So
I got you.
That is a whole lifetime of creating a fan. So I understand, like, you have to bring some of these younger people, and then you have like fans that a decade later in AEW, they're still loving you. They were there from the beginning with you, you know? So I get it. You know, you get younger people hooked in because you know, like Chris said, he's Nickelodeon ready. Just imagine a young kid. They're like, they would be all about Hook, right? I think our not getting Hook is that we're old.
Yeah, but
because
don't try to
because
fucking.
even though Chris has a track record with Keith Lee, so he's already knows his ability. You and I, Rafe, we were like all in on Keith Lee in 1 second, you know. So the young people might feel that way about Hook.
Dude, the minute they announced his weight, I was in on it. He said 349 pounds. I said, this is going to be a fucking brilliant show right now. And then he leapt over the top of Isaiah Cassidy, and I lost all of my innards. It was fantastic. But Hook, I could give a shit. You know, I wanted to stuff that bag of chips up his ass.
Fair point. Very fair. I am in the middle. I thought he did well. I was also disappointed with the Blake Lee thing because we heard all this, it's my star pupil, blah, blah, blah. There was like totally unimpressed. I don't even remember what he looks like.
No, they should have just put no body and it would have been fine. Nobody would have cared.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm done talking about that fool. All right. Number 7, the last match of the night. We had the tag team, the Jurassic Express versus the Gun Club. Okay. Ass boys. I'm sorry. Ass boys. Damn it. I thought this was fun.
Asshole boys.
I thought the Gun Club did a great job against the Jurassic Express. I think the Gun Club are better than their personas are as far as their technique of how they wrestle and how they're perceived by everybody. And was it better than the Bucks match? I don't think so. But again, I'm biased on that. Like I know you were talking about that too. But I really think that the Bucks that this was a good match and it was an equal match and it was a lot of fun. What did you think, Tammy?
So what I liked about the Gun Club was they were serving some 80s tacky glam outfits. And I enjoyed the hell out of them, especially the one-armed thing. Like I put, what on earth is Colton wearing with the one arm? Yes, exactly, Crystal.
And it wasn't even a sleeve.
I know.
It was like a half a sleeve and a bunch of chains.
Yes, I have never seen that at all, but it cracked me up. And so, like, definitely, I will never like ass boys as a slogan. Never. Okay, never.
That's the point.
If they could take that away and be their own thing, it would be nice. I would like it. But I love that they were just leaning into their 80s douchebaggery. So with their outfits. So the outfits really won me over. And I would like them to do their own thing eventually, though, because obviously now that I know the ass boys story, it's because, it comes from their dad. So like, why don't you be your own thing? So. And then it was mentioned like Luchasaurus was throwing Gun Club like the ass dolls. So maybe it's ass boys I don't like, but when we say ass dolls, I like that better.
Jericho said that. He called them the ass dolls.
Oh, is that who? I knew somebody said that. And I loved Lucha just throwing Colton around, and then of course Jungle Boy finally got it done. I thought it was just a fun match. That's all. I mean, it's not award winning, but it was fun.
Jerry, and then that Ricky Stark statement could hold true with that last Jericho statement. I wouldn't use that terminology, ass dolls.
Now that I think about it, you're right. That's really like.
Yep.
We won't even say.
Chris, what did you think of this match?
It was all right, man. Gun Club is just, I mean, they're just doing their thing, aren't they? Week after week, they're out there
doing it.
Like they've got a storyline that's been hot. They're getting better in the ring every week. It's getting more and more fun to watch them. They're starting to almost have like a significant like style that is kind of their own. Yeah, I'm digging it. I'm looking forward to see, maybe a year from now where they're at in the landscape of the tag team division.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking forward to seeing where their outfits evolve to.
Yeah. And I mean, the thing with Jurassic Express, like, I don't know. I didn't feel like they needed to have the titles on them right away when they gave them to them. And it's like it only feels like a matter of time before somebody gets them. And it would have been believable for them to take those titles.
Yeah, it would have been believable if the Gun Club took them.
So it's like, I mean, how much can you invest into that?
I guess we'll see how it goes down the line. I'd like to see who the Jurassic Express next opponents are going to be. I mean, if it's the Knights of the Black Throne, it's over.
Yeah,
it's over. They'll take them.
I don't understand why the Lucha Brothers run was so short. This is still bothering.
Yeah, but they've held titles longer than any tag team in history, Tammy. You got to understand
I don't care what they did somewhere else. I'm watching them now.
Because Ray Phoenix's arm folded in half and they got to like chill on it for a little bit.
They didn't know that when they planned the match.
Well,
maybe they changed it when it happened. We don't know. I haven't heard anything about that yet. Normally you hear like a few weeks, maybe a month or two later, like, oh yeah, it was originally going to be this, but they definitely called it the other way. I haven't heard anything about that particular match, about what was supposed to happen. It's like they don't even, maybe they're being careful about this because they don't want people to know that Jurassic wasn't supposed to get it or something. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it didn't feel like it was supposed to happen when it happened.
Right,
that was chaos, and then suddenly it was like, really, that's the end of this?
Yeah.
How did they beat them?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. I totally feel that way too.
I'll never get over it.
Even if Phoenix can't come back for a little bit, can you imagine what would happen with Penta, Dark, and Pac against them?
Oh, forget it.
It'd be over, dude. Like in a minute.
It would be done. So that's why that's why I thought at first when they won that they weren't supposed to win that.
Yeah.
And I still kind of feel that way. I still feel like they weren't supposed to win that. I think they had to win it just because they had to keep the run going.
The match where they won it from the Bucks was so incredibly impressive and epic that it just felt like it didn't feel right.
Right. It didn't feel right for Jurassic to win.
It wasn't taken away with an equally impressive match.
No, absolutely.
And I like Jurassic Express.
I love them too. I think they're great.
It's not that I don't think they're good or anything like that, but it just didn't feel like the same amount of epicness, exchange of energy there.
Yeah, I think that I would like to see the champions have to be the whole package. You know what I mean? And what I mean by that is they got to be able to kick ass on promos. They got to be able to kick ass in the ring. That's the whole package. Jurassic Express just isn't there yet with that. They're great. They're good in the ring, but they're just not there yet. The Bucks are there with that. The House of Black is there with that. The Lucha Brothers are there with that. You know what I mean? Pac and whoever he teams up with are there with that. Jurassic Express is not there with that. Same thing with Jade and the ladies. Britt's got the promos down, so she's the package. Jade's not the package. You got to see the package, man. If you want to compete with the people up in New York, you got to have the package, man.
I think all the women in the world agree that you must have the package.
Yeah. Not the terminology that I would use, but on that note, that is it for this week's All Elite Murder Theater podcast. We appreciate you tuning in, and we will catch you next week after we got everybody be ready. Rampage is on at 7:00 on Friday. So be warned, it's not on at 10:00 this Friday. It's on at 7.
Oh no, I don't have to stay up extra late to watch it.
Exactly. So we will see you next week, everybody. Have a great one. Peace.